This is the new era. This is the new band, and we're unbreakable.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology. We can make him better than he was. Better, stronger, faster. Actually, better, stronger,
faster. Is that a
faster.
line from Starship Troopers or something?
No, it's actually the $1 Million Man.
$6 Million Man. I know that, and
I don't even know what that is.
We Brits don't do excitement, so this is the best you're gonna get.
Chris is bringing the noise today, apparently.
Speaking of vanilla,
it's just I don't understand why.
I don't think anyone does. I don't think Travis Green understands.
Talking you through every goalie controversy, scoring slump, and draft lottery bust. This is the C4 Podcast on CanucksHockeyBlog.com and CKNW.com. Here they are, fresh from folding towels, sharpening skates, and washing jock straps. Chris, Matt, Anna, and Adam.
Welcome to another episode of the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast. This is Chris at Lightforce, joined in a hot box by Matt Lee at MattLee_61, Anna Forsyth at A Forsyth03, and Adam Ovenel Carter at AdamFOC. You know what? This week is another win because Matt isn't wearing his bike tights.
Although his trousers are very, very tight.
You know why else it's a win? For Team Tank, baby.
Yeah.
Do you guys like my watermelon socks, by the way?
I actually do.
The socks are stylish. I gotta give you that. I like the wild socks. But I have no.
I also have
close
hot dog socks.
Hot dog socks.
You can wear those next week for a fun treat.
It's a treat for the eyes and the mouth.
Oh,
gosh.
I hated everything about that.
Yeah.
This episode is gone to crap real quick. So what have you guys been up to in the last week? Anything?
I was at the beach on Sunday.
Ooh.
I went to Stanley Park on Saturday.
I wasn't done, Matt.
Ooh.
Tell us about the beach.
It was
You were
beautiful.
so sassy.
Well, I'm finally fighting back. It was a beautiful day. Just spent a few hours outside, playing catch, playing spike ball.
Having a catch.
All the rage.
Which
Yeah.
beach?
Sunset.
So literally here, just in the cold.
So
Yeah.
So hang
It was.
on.
It was a great day.
So you were playing spike ball
Yes.
at Sunset Beach.
Yes.
How
With
very
a beard
Vancouver.
that you currently have.
Yes.
Probably in. No, it was kind of cold on Sunday though, but I bet you were wearing what is it like the?
I had a Van City hoodie. You know?
Of course.
God, that's peak Vancouver hipster.
Well,
Yeah.
there's got to be one in every group, right? So.
Yeah, it's definitely
Oh,
Adam.
so hang on. So on Sunday, instead of watching the Vegas game, you were out playing spike ball.
Yeah, and I think I made the right call there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good call.
I was driving back from Chilliwack, and I still think I made the right call by not watching.
I had the option to watch the game. I chose not to.
Yeah. It was, didn't look great.
Christopher, did you watch the game on Sunday?
I watched the final 7 minutes when it appeared that the Vegas Golden Knights had simply decided that they wanted to play keep away and forecheck to get the game over and done
That
with.
was like watching the Harlem Globetrotters take on the Generals.
Oh, no doubt. I was actually at that point cheering on the Knights, hoping they'd get 60 shots.
I was cheering on the Generals.
Yeah.
I thought the Generals were due. Simpsons reference?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I got it.
Okay.
They do win from time to time, those Generals.
Do they actually?
Yeah, they actually occasionally win the odd game. Like for scripted basketball, you'd think it would always be the Globetrotters. Like what does it feel like when the Generals win a game if you happen to be there? It's like a once in a lifetime thing.
Canucks win sometimes too.
Also,
Just
a
once
once
in a
Not this
lifetime.
week, yeah.
Anywho, what are we talking about today, guys? Chris?
Well, we're going to talk about the fact that the Vancouver Canucks have jumped on to the tank train.
Okay, well,
The tank
I
train,
don't
that's
think the
two
Canucks
that's two
have.
forms of transport, by the way.
Canucks have not jumped on the train. Like, they're going to still play quote-unquote meaningful games. But us, here, C4 Podcast, are we all back on the tank train now?
Yeah.
Okay, was anyone ever
Okay,
actually
well, yes.
off?
No, if there was like a third party, like Team Playoffs versus Team Tank versus Team Development, I was at the time on Team Development.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
But now I'm fully on Team Tank.
Yeah, but
Yes.
To hell with Development.
but I think team
If we had Eric Goodbranson right now, I'd
Yeah,
play him
play him.
30 minutes a night.
you'd be okay with that though. You'd be like, "Oh man, good, he's playing big
I would
minutes."
just be like, wake me up when the lottery starts.
Yeah.
So we're all fully on Team Tank.
Oh, yeah.
What else are we talking about, Chris?
Well, there is a few notes from friend of the show, Cam Robinson, who We have courtesy of Matt, who I think has you got him on
I
what?
slide
text
him in.
line?
I slide into the DM.
That sounds totally like you. We've got the fact that Pettersson, he's on a little bit of a slump. Could
As is Brock Boeser.
Well, we'll talk about Boeser. You're already, when I was reading the rundown, had me getting all fired up. I think we're going to talk a little bit about Markstrom and the fact that he's coming up to free agency and is playing some of the best hockey of his days.
Man, the Canucks, just in this 90 days where Markstrom has been top 10 goaltender, the Canucks are just pissing away all this good hockey that Markstrom's been playing. Very frustrating. Do you have an F word, by the way?
No, but I can improvise. Maybe.
You want to improvise? We'll just get right into it.
You just poke the bear and Adam will go on a rant.
Yeah, it's true. Give me a direction.
Do you want me to talk about how an awesome job Jim Benning is doing?
No, that was
No, we don't need to
covered
rehash
enough last week.
Okay, go.
He liked to say the F word.
Well, then get the here then. Okay, see ya.
Is going to have the F word on it.
I wish I could give you an explanation about it. I can't. You, out of here.
You said the F word, Dad.
You called me the F word.
Oh, God. Okay, well, why don't I talk about... Should I talk about Markstrom, or do we want to save that for later?
You can save that for later.
Okay.
How about we do this?
Okay.
You can talk to me about Boeser and Pettersson slumping.
All right.
And if they're...
I got
you
this.
got it? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So there's nothing really for me to get too up in arms about this. I think the way the Canucks have used their lineup, it's to be expected. I think, one, Boeser's had some injury trouble, and he's still only a sophomore. Pettersson is a rookie, a young rookie who is adjusting to the NHL. So these slumps are to be expected, and I think you can kind of say that for the whole team when you have guys like Hutton and Stetcher playing almost half an hour a night, and you're running these guys into the ground. I don't know the minutes, but I feel like these guys, and Horvat lately, have been playing so much that towards the end of the season, they're just going to break down physically, and especially for guys who are still adjusting to the game. It's a different story for veterans, but these guys aren't yet. So until they get to that point, I think these are kind of the things we're going to see. So it still is a work in progress. It's nothing to get worried about. I saw somebody joke that Pettersson's so good he's having a sophomore slump in his rookie season, and that's kind of true. It's just these guys are great players. It's just a matter of working through this right now.
Okay, so let's take what Adam has sort of said and go to you, Anna. I mean, what we're seeing from Brock Boeser, is it a sophomore slump, or is this just teams keying in on Pettersson and Boeser being the better players that opposition have to watch out for?
Yeah, first of all, that F word wasn't anywhere near as angry as I would have liked, but I guess it's probably true that...
I used it up last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... Boeser, I don't think it's something to be worried about on a team like the Canucks. The fact that Boeser and Pettersson have done so well is kind of remarkable. So, really, I don't think it's anything to be worried about at all. As you say, although we're more on Team Tank than Team Development, I think it is part of the process that they're just learning to play together, and Pettersson has had the injuries to work through, as has Boeser, so, and they're definitely the line to target. So yeah, as you say, they've been overworked and they've been very much targeted by the rest of the league. So
worth pointing out very quickly, the 7-game slide that the Canucks are on, they've won one game in the last 7. Pettersson and Boeser combining for just 1 goal in that stretch. Adam, you had something else that you wanted to add?
I was going to say the one piece of criticism you could make is that it shouldn't be at this point where these first and second year players are being worked to. You use the word overworked, Anna. You don't want these guys, as good as they are, you don't want them being ran into the ground, right? There's not a lot of depth offensively or defensively, and it's really showing now.
But what's the point in overworking them? I guess
Well, the point is they're the best players, so you play them as much as you play any team's best players.
Right.
But
at this
again,
point,
there's just nothing else beyond those few guys, right? So.
Well, it's interesting that, Adam brings up a good point, that they are second-year players. They're essentially the Sedin replacement. Like, prior to the Sedins retiring, it was Daniel or Henrik Sedin. The way the Sedins went, the Canucks went. Well, now we're seeing that with both Pettersson and Boeser. But arguably, what else is there? You could go and maybe put more weight on Bo Horvat, but look at ultimately who he gets paired with each and every night. He's getting, for lack of a better description, the leftovers, and he's being put into a role where he's not necessarily being relied upon for his offensive side of the game. Ultimately, the Vancouver Canucks, they've been punching well above their weight class all season. Now that teams are gearing up for a playoff race, the Canucks are outclassed. Like, they're at least 2 years away from being a serious playoff contender. You could argue that maybe they have been pretending, much to the chagrin of anyone who might be on team playoffs. But again, from a developmental perspective, I don't have a problem with the Canucks having some tough times right now, because these are the tough times they're going to have to overcome in 2 years when they should be competitive.
Sorry, I think one of you may have mentioned it, but if not, I'll add to it. How much of this is Pettersson and Boeser carrying the team for this long and just getting a little tired or worn down, matched by the opposition? And how much of it is also just the lack of scoring depth in general on this team?
Well, I think it's both, and they both feed into each other, because not only are they having to provide much of that scoring depth, they're doing a lot of defensive work as well and trying to make up for that lack of strength on the D as well. You see the excellent defensive work that we praised Pettersson for all season. That's got to be exhausting and take away from your offensive depth eventually.
Have you also noticed a little bit Boeser's defensive game is being exposed a little bit during this stretch of games?
That game, I think it was against Arizona. He had a terrible game, and he was just kind of striding back in while Brad Richardson's scoring 4 goals, right? And that's not going to be his game, but
it is something he's going to have to work on, though, I think, over the offseason. I think we're seeing a little bit of lessons learned from Brock Boeser and Pettersson's struggles so far. Like, Pettersson, clearly he will need to get his conditioning up, put on a little bit of weight. I mean, no one here is saying he's outclassed by being the undersized player, but he'll have to put on a little bit of weight over the summer just to recalibrate himself to the rigors of the NHL. And then Boeser, similarly, will have to work a little bit on the defensive side of his game as well if they are both to be successful elite players in the future.
One more thing, I think, talking about their struggles, you also have to talk about the team's power play struggles of late, which have reached, like apocalyptic proportions.
Well, Boeser taking off the top unit.
Exactly, yeah. So, and is that tough love from Green? Is that a necessary change? I mean, I thought that the worst thing they did was put him as net front presence. That just doesn't work. I mean, yes, he's kind of struggling, but his strength is his shot, and you want to use that. So how much of it is, maybe the deployment on the power play, the setup, or just struggles from the players? How much is it coaching? How much is the players themselves?
I think it's largely players themselves. I mean, we've seen with Travis Green over the last couple of games, he's just putting everybody into a blender and just at this point experimenting with whatever he can, and that includes Brock Boeser being taken off the top unit. Is this going to be an easy fix overnight? No. I mean, I think there are much bigger problems with the power play. Like, I just feel like we've seen a lack of creativity from Newell Brown in general over the last little bit. That will need to be reassessed.
He's gone at the end of the year, right? Like,
I'm not 100% sure on that.
But I just don't know how you can justify this kind of season-long performance.
Do they give him another shot, though, when you expect Quinn Hughes to be a full-time player, though? And I know Quinn Hughes doesn't completely transform the power play, but I feel like Newell Brown only got brought back this season, if I'm not mistaken. So it's hard to see him getting the can now, right? What, can someone confirm that, by the way, if Newell Brown was brought back this summer, or was it the 2 summers ago?
I'm not sure, but either way,
I think it's
not working. I mean, his shtick was in 2011 with the drop pass and all that, and teams have caught up to that. It's time to move on and find new ways to work. We can talk about the power play forever, and maybe that's a different topic altogether.
I think what you're saying about Quinn Hughes, that's more of a reason to start afresh, I think, with a creative person like Quinn Hughes coming into the fold. And I think, if anything, if we use these last few games to figure out a little bit more of a power play plan, I'd be happy with that because I know Quinn Hughes will come in, but as you say, he doesn't magically solve it.
2017, summer of 2017.
What?
See?
Yeah.
Time sure flies under Newell Brown's second reign.
Sure.
Well, just a note on the power play, though. Look at the power play at the start of the season when it was hopping. Puck distribution was good, and the puck was moving with speed. Now
it's not moving at all.
Yeah, and that, I mean, you look at the most successful power play in the league, when the puck is moving fast, that's ultimately when those goals are going to get scored, because not only do the defensemen get themselves out of position, the goaltender gets stretched left to right to left.
And you know, we've heard players talk about how opponents are jumping on Pettersson right away. If you move them around a lot, then it opens up opportunities for you to get, the defense will be out of position. That's how you get it to him. But if it's just, you're going back and forth between Stetcher and Pettersson, there's no chance of that working, right?
No, not at all.
Getting back on track with Brock Boeser, we'll talk a little bit about this with other players in the next segment, but let's talk about Brock Boeser's contract now. Is now the time, with Boeser quote-unquote slumping, as it were, to sign him to a long-term deal while his value is quote-unquote at its lowest? Or does this slump, if you will, not change any sort of discussion about what kind of contract Brock Boeser should get?
I'm laughing because Matt just hit two Matt bingo things, quote unquote.
Yeah,
he said
if you're
twice
filling
in the
out
same
your
sentence.
bingo.
What about you? What about you?
If
What are
you
we waiting
will,
for?
you
If
just
I was
said
just going to
after.
say, has she said that yet?
I don't
think
know,
she has.
but yours were you had three back.
What about you? You did an atomism. You've already unbuttoned one part of your shirt.
No, it's been this way all day.
Damn it.
Anyway,
I'm surprised you didn't notice that straight off.
All right, drink, whatever.
I think now, I mean, we kind of, Matt, I think you and I talked about this off air maybe, but how it bodes well for the Jets in signing Patrick Laine, right? Like, he had a terrible slump, and it was with a colleague, sorry, but how that benefits the Jets greatly. And
How
I think
dare you mix me up with somebody else?
Sorry. So that benefits the Jets, and I think this benefits the Canucks too, because now, I mean, Boeser's going to be pushing for a bridge deal, but if it does go long term, then it could be a very, very reasonable total. So he's under a point per game for sure, but I think he's around 0.8 points per game or something like that over his career, plus injuries and all that, and those obviously come into account. But in 2 years, at 0.8 points per game with about 25 goals, what do you value that as, right? Is that, I mean, that to me is maybe 6.5 or something.
I was
7.
I was having this discussion with my brother, and he says that Willie Nylander's contract is a good comparable of what Boeser could get, which was 6.9 over 6 years.
Which I think, that's reasonable for. I mean, if you're
Yes.
Canucks, you're happy with that.
And this is, of course, if Boeser is amenable to taking a long-term contract. But do you think that, Chris, maybe Boeser's looking for a short-term deal, betting on himself?
Oh, I think he's completely betting on himself. Like, I actually wonder what incentive Boeser has to go long term, right, at least right now. He, a bridge deal that gets him to free agency. And heck, I mean, he's only 2 years away from arbitration eligibility. I honestly think we get a 2-3 year deal out of Boeser. Yeah, probably a reasonable number, but then he also knows that the Vancouver Canucks, in that period of time, that's when the push occurs. So, nice guy and whatnot. It's all about business. He's going to go for short term and make bank in a few years.
I think the Canucks would be maybe amenable to that because you have Eriksson and Beagle clearing out after 3 years, right? So
plus you'll have to reallocate some cap dollars for Pettersson. I said Nick McDavid for some reason.
Oh man! But no, but I mean you're right. But that space opens up. So
are you open to a short-term deal for Boeser?
Yeah, I think we will be in a better place in a couple years' time, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, if we're able to put him down to a 6-year reasonable contract, and I think those numbers are lower than what we first talked about when we talked about this at the beginning.
I think
of
we
the
were
season.
saying like $8 million or something.
Yeah, it was
for Boeser.
definitely in that region. So if that works out, great. But realistically, I think his agent especially will be pushing for
$10 million for 2 years. I'm just spitballing.
$10 million total?
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
$5 million a year.
Even
Or is he
12.
looking?
Yeah,
Probably,
and-
he might be looking a little bit more, maybe 5.5,
Yeah.
6.
yeah. But I think they'll definitely be pushing for short term rather than dollar value. So
What about all this talk? And you guys can dismiss this very quickly if you like. But what about all this talk we've been hearing over the last couple days? Again, couple days about trading Brock Boeser. Is it a simple?
I haven't heard it.
Is it a
peep
simple
about that.
non-starter for you at all?
Have you been hanging out on HF boards again?
I'm just gonna say there are certain radio stations that talked about Boeser's struggles, and that maybe if the right deal, a hockey deal, came along,
No, because
would
now
you ever
would be
trade?
the worst time to trade him. Now it's the same reason he doesn't want to sign a long-term deal. You
Okay,
don't want to trade
so
him right now.
okay, so and again, this could be a very quick conversation. But if let's say if the Canucks are picking 6th overall, if some team said we will take Boeser and 6 for 1, would you do that?
So, okay, presumably Colorado Avalanche with
Let's
the
say
first
that.
overall pick
Yes.
comes and says,
They don't need Jack Hughes, but they could use another high-scoring winger.
okay, I to me, like a first and Boeser is not equivalent to number 1. Like, I think that's an overpayment for the first overall pick, and I believe that actually delays
Would you?
the
But
Vancouver Canucks.
would you pay Boeser and a high-end prospect for Patrick Kane in his prime?
So not right now.
Not right now, but 18-year-old Patrick Kane
in his prime,
yes.
knowing what we get with Patrick Kane, sure, but like that's my problem is with first overall, and it's not to suggest that it's not a bad pick. It's definitely an opportunity for the Vancouver Canucks to get better, but we are then rolling the dice in the hope that pick Hughes makes it happen, and in turn, we also see that like ultimately, what do the Canucks need right now? They need defensemen, but then they're giving up essentially the only partner Pettersson has that has shown he can produce. Like there need to be something else that we don't know of up front that still makes the Canucks, get ready in 2-3 years.
Again, purely hypothetical. I don't think anyone here is saying trade Brock Boeser, but
well, you just did.
No. I'm not saying that I would do this deal. I'm just saying that if there was an argument to be made, it would have to completely and utterly blow the watermelon socks off my feet for me to trade Brock Boeser.
And I think there's something to be said, and Chris touched on it, for the fact that Boeser and Pettersson,
they're besties?
They're besties, and they love playing together.
It's like Matt and Adam.
No.
Oh, God.
No.
Did you see that jersey
Yeah, that was
sent in the
awful.
chat?
No.
I'll find it later.
Besserson.
God, you need to check Discord more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was awful. But, yeah, I don't see what you can gain from making Pettersson unhappy by taking away the
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that.
best line mate.
I don't think it necessarily makes him unhappy. It just makes no sense. Like, I think Pettersson can do well with others, but
he definitely can, but it's not necessarily devastating him, but
we're not playing, EA NHL 19. Like,
yeah, these are
there's
real
just
people.
other factors that go into this, right? So
stay off HF boards.
Can we talk? What do you got?
Oh, I was just gonna say, do we want to talk about Pettersson's maybe loosening grip on the Calder Trophy?
Okay, we can talk about that. Yeah, very quickly.
Right now, Dahlin's coming in hot.
17 points his last 23 games.
Yeah, that's pretty good, especially for defensemen and
a rookie
love
defenseman.
Rookie defensemen.
Yeah, and I was going to say recency bias as well. They do tend to be affected by that.
So right now it's still Pettersson's. I think
Yes.
season ended today. It's
Yes.
Pettersson's.
Who was the other rookie that was in the running for a while?
Svechnikov, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say Brady Tkachuk too, but
Anyway, it's never.
no.
who's the other? I think, it's clearly 1-2, right?
Yeah, and if Dahlin keeps in this pace, then he could easily overtake.
Yeah.
What does Pettersson have to do to keep it?
Big game Wednesday night.
Against
6
Yeah.
you know what? That's fair. Game
That
I will
is
be
very
at
true.
actually. But if
Are we
you
playing Buffalo or something?
what?
No,
We're
it's
playing
Toronto. It's Toronto.
It's
an
yeah.
and it's
I was like, are we playing Buffalo?
6 o'clock.
early
I was pretty
enough
sure we were
start here
playing.
that they'll still be awake out east. So big game against Toronto is enough.
That's true. I mean, after that Calgary game, which was Hockey Night in Canada a couple weeks ago, people were talking about Boeser and Pettersson.
Okay.
We got
with glowing
Oilers
words,
on
right?
Saturday.
So we can all agree that Dahlin is coming in hot,
Thursday.
and Pettersson's grip on the Calder Trophy has never been looser, so to speak. Right?
If you will.
I mean,
English
that was
is
a
not my
great,
first language.
Yeah, great phrasing, but yes.
Curious, and this is Chris would be very proud of me with my tinfoil hat. How much pressure do you think is coming from the upper echelons of the front office to Travis Green perhaps saying, play the heck out of Elias Pettersson so he can put up the numbers that it takes for him to solidify his status as the undisputed Rookie of the Year?
One question first. How high when you say upper echelon? Are we talking hockey ops
I'm
or are
saying,
we talking above hockey
I'm
ops?
saying the men and women who run this show.
Okay.
How much, again, pressure, if you will, comes from them to coaching to say, get Pettersson the numbers he needs to win the Calder.
Yeah, so if it's the above hockey ops, they want that trophy. They need a success story to keep people
especially because
the
the season is almost a carbon copy of what last year looked like.
Exactly. Now, on the hockey ops side...
And because Boeser also lost the Calder trophy last year.
Yeah. On the hockey ops side, part of me wonders, would they be too upset if he didn't win this? Because, just saying,
for future contracts
cost money.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I think if you are to put on your little tinfoil hat, like, Canucks fans love a conspiracy. So if, like, Pettersson loses the Calder trophy and we all think he should have won it, won't that be good for the team in a strange way?
That would be the poop cake, though, on the poop sandwich of the season.
But there'll be so much outrage that it might end up more support for the team.
So 16 games left. Pettersson probably needs 16 points, almost. He almost needs to score at a point per game clip the rest of the way, I think, to cement it.
The thing
I'm
is,
just spitballing on numbers.
Yeah,
by
I
the way.
don't think it's about numbers. It's about scoring a couple, like, the big goals in the games that count, especially
Wednesday, Toronto.
Yeah,
and Edmonton Saturday, as Anna said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it wrong. I'm sorry, I was reading the calendar wrong. We're playing
mind,
Vegas on Saturday, so.
Okay, but still, Hockey Night Canada.
Yeah.
So in other words, Adam, just to wrap up your question, like, you think that Dahlin has made a serious challenge though for the Calder trophy at this point?
Yeah, he's firmly in number 2, but he's creeping closer and closer.
If Pettersson got injured today, like walking out onto the golf course, getting a couple practice swings in, and misses the rest of the season, does Dahlin overtake him and win the Calder trophy?
Probably.
I think so too.
But if he scores like a big goal on Wednesday and then gets injured on Saturday?
See, I don't think it's enough.
When did Boeser
get hurt?
Yeah.
I want to say it was around this time around last year almost.
Like 62 games.
I remember it was the Islanders game.
Last month or so he missed.
Because Boeser's a great example. I mean, he was a close second. If he doesn't get hurt, argument says he wins. So,
yeah,
knock on wood. Take back your words. We don't want to see Pettersson get hurt, but it conceivably does become
so in other words,
possible.
We play Pettersson for 10 minutes a night, all power play minutes.
He's going to get the Hank Sedin treatment, get out for that opening shift, and then be told to go shower.
Can we move on?
I was going to say.
Okay. Can we get back on the Team Tank bandwagon? We're all back on.
Again, we were never off.
There's room for more in case you're not sure. God, the Canucks suck.
Yeah, it's pretty deflating to watch, but I'm okay with it.
I didn't watch that Vegas game. Like I said, I
wasn't good.
Yeah, I checked on Twitter and it sounded bad, and then I looked at the box score and saw the shots were 48-19, and I just laughed. Like, I can't remember a lopsided shot total like that. That's crazy. And Markstrom must have been standing on his head. Like, that's bananas.
Yeah,
he was.
Markstrom is number 3 in shots faced as a Canucks goaltender.
I mean,
and that's with some time missed.
You look and he has 3 goals against, and you automatically think that's not great. But then you see his save percentage is like 9.4 or something. It's not on the season, but it was against Vegas. Right?
Yeah,
it's tough to be a Canucks goalie right now.
It's something like 9-7 throughout this losing stretch.
That's crazy.
What is the number I have here? They're 8 points out of a playoff spot, 7 points out of last in the West. They're 4 points up on Anaheim and 5 points up on New Jersey, currently in 26th place. Reasonably, the Canucks probably can't finish any lower than 28th, at the very lowest.
Right.
Because ain't nobody going to finish lower than Detroit, Ottawa, and LA.
That's the thing. It's almost the depressing thing about it is that we have to watch the rest of the season of Canucks losing and playing terribly, and it still might not make a difference.
Yeah, even then, the Canucks are only 5 points up on New Jersey, and that's not an insignificant amount when you're talking about bad teams.
Oh, I think that Anaheim and New Jersey can overtake the Canucks in the standings.
Yeah, just because the Canucks aren't going to win that much. We were talking before the show, Matt. Canucks
put the question.
Have 63 points.
Yep.
There are how many games left?
16.
16 games.
They had 73 last season.
The Canucks had 73 points last year. In the next 16 games, do they get more than 10 points and pass their point total from last year?
See, I said yes, but I don't know. I think it'll be around 73.
Chris? Did the Canucks get 10 points
10
out of the
points and
possible
16.
32?
Yeah. Essentially, they would need to go about 333 and 333 win
Yeah,
percentage.
so a win
every three games.
Which is pretty reasonable.
It sounds reasonable.
But I mean, like, pretty reasonably low. Like the Canucks could be that bad very easily.
But I mean, 10 points. That's just 5 wins. Like I could see the Canucks winning 5 games.
Mathematically, I can see the Canucks winning one of every 4 games for the rest of the way. That would be 4 wins of their last 16 games. That's the current pace they're on, by the way, right now.
And add in a couple overtime losses there.
It's not out of the question.
Like I think 10 points is doable.
It's also doable not to make.
They're winning 41% of the games right now.
Right now, I'm saying, but in
Overall,
the last 2 months, though, that win percentage is probably like
I
in
did
the 30s.
actually look because I was curious about this about their strength of schedule for the remaining bits of the season.
If I'm not mistaken, they're playing LA a couple times.
They
more.
have an easy one. I think they are. It's ranked 9th easiest in the league the rest of the way. But
Quinn Hughes on the way. Here comes the playoff run.
Most of the only Ottawa and Detroit of the teams below them have an easier or harder strength of schedule. So you can do with that what you will.
Let's say the Canucks just go nuts. They get hot.
Like last year when they went 6-2-2 in the final.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Like
that was fun. Remember that?
Yeah, they still got Hughes out. They got pretty lucky.
Conceivably, Markstrom is playing out of his mind. He's gonna steal a game or two,
or get tired.
Okay,
or there's holes through Markstrom's body. Because...
Well, I mean, at this point in time, looking at Markstrom's body of work, does he show any sign of slowing down? Like whatever he's drinking in between games,
Michael Jordan's secret stuff
must be, because he is playing out of his mind. Like he essentially, the Canucks lost against Vegas because he got tired, and even then, at least 2 of the goals, I don't necessarily believe he had a hope in hell of stopping them. Anyhow,
on the sorry, do you want to?
No, I was just going to
say drink.
It doesn't count if I do it on purpose. Yeah, I just think if you look at the whole season, Markstrom's been let down by this team the whole season.
Welcome to being a Canucks goaltender when they're not good.
Yeah, so I don't think it's necessarily going to shift dramatically in the last 16 games.
I do want to just touch on it because it happened this week. Demko's start. He obviously let in, what was it, 5 goals in the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
5-1 final? 5-0? I can't remember. 5-1.
5-2.
Well,
5-2?
when you're playing against Richardson, you can
Either
only
way,
hope to contain him.
By my count, like 4 of the goals were pretty unstoppable, like cross ice one-timers, breakaways, stuff like that. What do you take out of that start? Anything?
Yeah.
No,
I don't
Nothing
think so.
really. Demko doing development things.
Yeah.
That's all it is in my mind.
You remember when the Vancouver Canucks used to be able to rally around the fact that, hey, guys, let's get in front of the puck and stop shots? Like, arguably, they have enough JAGs that they should still be able to go and do that. Instead, allow Demko to essentially get ventilated.
Yeah.
That's actually, in my mind, that's more concerning. When you have a team full of JAGs and they can't even blue-collar their way into an effort.
But then JAGs don't see themselves as JAGs.
Very quickly on Markstrom, and we were going to allocate a lot more time on this, but because of the hot run of play that he's had over the last 3 or 4 months now, is anyone re-exploring the idea of Demko taking over by 2021 when his contract comes up?
Well, I think it's kind of a moot point until we see what happens next year.
Right. But from what we've seen from Markstrom, and let's extrapolate and say that he's a top 10 goaltender again next season.
Well, then
do you start rethinking, or is this
maybe? But then you've got an incredibly valuable trade asset too, right? So, it's something that I think is not worth talking about right now, just because it's so
sure. But I was going to say originally, I thought the plan was Markstrom would be the guy for this year and next year,
yes.
And then we would start having Demko take over. From what we've seen, though, from Markstrom, now I'm starting to rethink again a little bit. Again, recency bias, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe Markstrom can be the guy a lot longer than just this 2-year stretch.
Yeah, it's possible, but we don't know. We'll see.
You'd rather trade Demko, though, if that's the case, then?
Trade Demko?
If Markstrom, again, were to be the guy in 2021.
Well,
I'm saying
no,
Markstrom would be the
that
asset.
Adam was saying that Markstrom would be the asset.
Yeah, the only reason Demko gets traded is Markstrom continues to play out of his mind, and DiPietro shows you that he's going to be the future. Like right now, there are far too many variables to say that Markstrom is going to be the guy. Like, I still think it's the same plan.
Remember when we thought
always.
Luongo would be the guy, and then Corey Schneider came along? So, yeah, you're right.
Luongo should still be the guy.
And here we go again. We're not doing this again. There should be, every time we mention Luongo, there should be a drinking game.
Yeah.
I didn't bring him up this time.
I won't
I
start.
know.
I won't start on Luongo.
We'll take a break,
But I won't.
come back, talk about a little bit of the prospects. Quinn Hughes watch starts, and some way too soon discussion about what should happen in the offseason. Coming up next on the C4 podcast, CanucksHockeyBlog.com.
Take hitting out of the game. You can't hit anymore, so don't do it.
The unsportsmanlike conduct, I want to get an explanation on it.
No kidding.
Because how do you get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Plus interference. There's no interference there. He had the puck.
Now, Madison never ever did that before. Now, why did he do it? And that because he was mad.
Well, your early favorite for the Calder trophy, that's for sure. Elias Pettersson, you might even say your early favorite for the Hart trophy.
Just to get back to your question, Elias is going to play plenty. He's going to get a lot of power play time. And, yeah, I'm concerned about our offense. We lost 200-point players, and we've got to find a way to score.
So, Quinn Hughes watch. Is that on yet?
You told me it was earlier today.
Anna?
Oh, I mean, I've been waiting since the start of the season. I've been watching and waiting.
Christopher?
Well,
you sound like a guy who's excited for Quinn Hughes to come along.
Yeah, but I'm torn. Only so much as that, contracts and all that jazz.
Tinfoil hat, you can put it back on.
Hey, Brock Boeser played 9 games, and as a result of that, this is his last year.
Yeah, but that's just
entry.
what you do with star college players. Like you take that risk, and
but
you burn that year.
No, I'm not suggesting Boeser doesn't play, but I just from an asset management perspective.
No, but I'm saying that's what you do. So you get them. Otherwise, you risk them going back to college and then not signing and becoming free agent.
Oh, no, I'm not suggesting he doesn't play. I'm just suggesting that there isn't again, I wonder if there isn't a better way to manage that asset so that you don't get, was it 7 games to burn the year?
But I'm saying you burn the year so you can sign them. Otherwise, they're free agents, right? Like, you don't want to risk that with these guys. That happens all the time in college. You bring them with college players. You bring them
Justin
up late.
Schultz.
Yeah, you burn those 9 games just so you can get them.
But again, Chris, what you're saying is like you're bringing him up. You're burning 1 year of the contract early. Looking at Boeser now, though, like, wouldn't you say that we're in better shape now, having brought him in a year early, because of the fact that this quote-unquote slump now positions us to sign him to a bridge deal, and really we're not worse for the wear as a result?
Okay, so presumably, yes. A bridge deal would be better because he has his sophomore slump. And, okay, if Hughes is in the same boat, great. I think it's all a moot point. I think GMJB has made it very clear. As soon as Hughes is so much as ready to hop on the charter, he is dressing in a Vancouver Canucks uniform and hitting the ice, getting his solo skate.
Yeah.
And talking about upper echelons of management as we were before, wouldn't that be so much better for season ticket renewals if you got to see Quinn Hughes play this season?
And I think someone mentioned in The Athletic as well that the Canucks have their longest homestand of the season coming up. It's a 7-game homestand.
Oh, okay.
And because of the fact that home games are a lot harder to watch now that Team Tank is alive and well, they need some sort of rallying cry, and Quinn Hughes could be that guy too.
Speaking of home games, just off the rails slightly, you guys see that deal right now that students can score tickets with? It's like $30.
Are you still a student?
You sit where they send you, and people have been getting like lower bowl seats for $30.
Really?
I presume it's
That's
that
decent.
the Vancouver Canucks are looking, without papering the stadium.
They're looking to fill some seats.
Adam and I are going to go find our SFU student cards.
Mine's still in my pocket, but I'm also technically a UBC student. So
Really?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Friend of the show, and my best friend Annalise is a student, so when you hear this, Annalise, let's get on this.
Well,
Can she get 4 tickets?
I think you can only get one. I think it's like one per. I don't know. I'm not a student. I haven't looked into it, but I was.
Oh yeah, like the Canucks have trouble like turning away people to
fair
buy
enough.
tickets.
But the thing being is that, they are struggling to fill the barn. So you know what? Yeah, let's get Quinn Hughes up here as soon as possible. Sell hope.
What number will Quinn Hughes wear? 43?
43.
Yeah.
Man, that's weird.
That's a cool number. I like
It is weird though, isn't it? I've never seen.
But not by today's standards.
I could not tell you a single player that I know anywhere in the NHL that's worn the number 43.
Yeah, but that's it. Kids these days.
Kids.
I like that kids are
you punk kids in your.
choosing cool
I do
numbers.
too.
Enough of the 4s.
Jonah Gadjevich, or 43, as a Vancouver Canuck.
When? During the prospects
I'm sorry,
camp
they're
and
gonna
stuff?
give that. They're going to give that to Quinn.
No, I'm not suggesting
I know.
you didn't get
I'm
it,
just
but
saying it's,
but I'm.
Sorry, Jonah.
Yep. Just searching NHL numbers here.
So Quinn Hughes. Wait, what were we talking about again? I already forgot what the original point of discussion was.
Does Quinn Hughes
when does this
come up as
when's his
back on Quinn Hughes. Yes, I think he's got a series coming up this weekend, and if his team is eliminated by then, he could join the Canucks as early as like mid-March or something like that. So it's not entirely far away. What I do have a problem with in Quinn Hughes in terms of playing 7 games is actually if he plays enough games that would mean the Canucks have to protect him in the expansion draft. That's where the line stops for me. And I think it's 10 games. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, who else are the Canucks going to protect?
You don't know who could be on this team, though, in 2 years, though. I would rather have a guy who is automatically protected
you do
than
want more of those guys.
to not have... Than to have
So
to
is it
waste
2
a
years
spot on
accrued
Hughes.
in the NHL?
It's 2 years, and then it's like I think you need 10 games of experience in each of those seasons.
Okay.
And so if
fair.
Hughes reaches, like, I don't want Hughes to reach that benchmark in my mind. And I think Hughes would also understand if the Canucks were to say we don't want to play those 10 games because we want to protect you.
Yeah,
but
that's fair too.
I'm fine using. I'm fine burning off the first year of his entry level contract. I'm fine signing him to play games right now. I just don't want him playing enough games that would mean we have to use an expansion protection spot on him. We already got to use it to protect Louis friggin' Eriksson.
Yeah, I know.
That's the last thing I want to do is waste another spot. We're gonna have to protect Ben Hutton probably at this point.
Yep, that's fine.
Possibly at Edler if you bring him back.
Yeah, but you're not bringing him back with an MC.
No, I hope not.
We talked about that last week. That's fine.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, everyone here is on board with Quinn Hughes. Anna?
Yes, very much so.
Sure. Quick hitters here. Contracts. We are going to talk about some way too soon contracts very quickly. You either say you want them back or peace be with you. Chris, we'll start with you. Hey, UFAs, Alex Edler. Bring him back or peace be with you?
Peace be with him, but he'll be back.
Oh, jeez. Scared the crap out of me.
Okay, we've talked about this in Discord. He's going to get 3 letters with any contract, and it's going to hamstring the Vancouver Canucks. So do we really want to continue down this path?
If he's back for 2 years with a no trade clause, that's fine.
It's a no movement clause that...
Yeah. It's the expansion draft protection that scares me.
Yeah. Same.
So bring him back as long as there's no movement clause.
Yes.
Darkest timeline, he leaves anyway, and Matt loses his mind.
Oh my gosh, tables will be flipped. I will punch Adam in the face.
What's Adam done?
I need someone to blame.
Wildly inappropriate, but I'll save it for something else.
Yeah.
Next one. Adam, we'll start with you, since you have that pretty face of yours. Luke Shen.
For now.
Bring him back or peace be with you?
Bring him back at a minimum 2-way deal kind of thing. Like, why not? He's depth, and Canucks don't have.
He's Eric Goodbranson 2.0 for a fraction, literally, of
his
better contract.
Than Goodbranson, and if he's making vet minimum, then there's no harm.
I don't want him back just for the human eraser memes from Pierre Maguire.
I agree because he could turn into something.
1 year deal.
Yeah, pay him the absolute minimum.
Worst case is 1 year deal. You flip him for a 6th round pick, and in a few months from then.
There you
go. Let's go to RFAs. Back to Chris. Ben Hutton. What's his next contract look like?
What does it look like?
Yes.
God,
there's no way they say bye to Ben Hutton.
No, because they don't have depth to say goodbye to Ben Hutton. But what does his contract look like?
Second best defenseman.
Sorry?
God, I don't know.
Okay, let's do this. Short term or long term? Would you want to do with Ben Hutton?
With Ben Hutton, short term.
So really, short term. I'd be fine with like a like 4 years.
That's as high as you go. 4 years.
I'd go 5, maybe. He's still pretty
young.
He's
okay.
pretty young.
Five is too much.
When I say short term, I'm saying 2 to 3, so I'm not too far off.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. 3
Yeah,
to 5, I'm totally fine.
I would err on the side of caution 2 to 3.
$3.5 million per. It's about right in my mind.
Yeah, if you give him
what's he
if you give him a
right
$12 million contract, I'm totally fine
for
with
3 years.
However you divide it over however many number of years, that's fine. If it's 3x4, 4x3.
Yeah, he's on 2.8 right now.
That's not bad.
Reference.
Yep. Josh Levo. Start with Christopher again.
Bring him back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Why would Josh Levo not be back? That's like one of the few experiments that we've seen GMB
that have actually moved the needle, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, the scary thing is, though, is that could very well encourage Jim to go and perform
Here's
more
a no-trade clause, Josh Levo.
Yeah, and what, he's 25 now, so...
2 years.
2 years he's UFA.
The Marcus Granlund experiment.
2 years he's UFA, and you could lose him very easily.
Don't care.
But why not? Like, he's the kind of guy you would want to... I would like to buy some of his UFA years.
Why are you giving so much term to all these players?
They need some players. They don't have players. You can't give everyone a short-term deal, and then in 2 years, when they're all UFAs, they just walk out. It just doesn't work.
That's true. Yeah. Nikolai Goldobin. Let's go with Anna on this one.
The thing is, I don't want to bring him back and just watch this happen all over again. Like
the frustration, the scratching, the maddening that is his talent, and then the lack of production on it.
I saw cases being made on Twitter that he's a better line mate for Pettersson than Boeser is, and he threw your head back there. I didn't know if that was in like disgust or anger with that take, but I think it's not totally I don't know if it's true, but it's not totally unreasonable. Like, when he plays with Pettersson, he performs at a first line rate, and just play him in better
how do
situations.
we know that?
Well, you can look at the numbers.
But we can't because he hasn't been played enough.
But when he does play with Pettersson, it's just those are facts. Like, he produces.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love watching him play with Pettersson. I'm just saying we haven't been shown enough of that. And
plus, he's in a Capilano Audi commercial.
Yeah, they save that for superstars. I'm happy to bring him back. I mean, that would be a short-term deal, just like you said, Anna. There's too many wild cards.
Chris has this look on his face like he's about to say something that's going to blow the roof off our doors.
No, not at all. I'm just like...
Blow the roof off our doors.
Yes.
Figure that one out.
If Goldobin is just a continued experiment that's going to go and percolate in a press box, peace be with him. That's not a knock against Goldobin. I would much rather see him stumble his way through an 82-game season playing 82 friggin' games and know the commodity that is Nikolai Goldobin.
Blow the doors off our roof?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, we need to add that to the drinking game. Matt makes up a phrase.
When Goldobin is scratched for so many of these, like, who did they bring in recently? I can't remember who it was. But
Pearson?
Oh, Spooner. That's the guy. When he was scratched for Spooner.
Yeah.
Like, Spooner has, 5 points this year, and Goldobin literally had 5 times as many
I'd
points.
rather roll with Goldobin.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. But, I swear to God, I've said this to so many people. If he wasn't Russian, we would not be having any of these conversations. He would not be scratched.
It's profiling.
Honestly, I firmly believe that. It's just this whole, Russian enigma thing. Just let him play the way he plays and work with it.
I'm not arguing that I want that to happen. I just don't want to watch another season.
Okay, but then I would say peace be with the guy who can't work with talented players. You have.
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. I'm just saying.
Anyway,
we got to move faster. Tyler Mott, yes or no? Just say yes or no.
Who cares?
Yeah, sure.
Abstain is also a fair answer, by the way.
In a vacuum, peace be with him.
Okay, moving on. Crap, I lost my list. Marcus Granlund.
Peace be with you. See you later, bud.
Is that the hardest? Is that the easiest buy of so far?
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Why do you always look at me like you're about to say something that's going to be completely controversial?
Well, no. It's just the reason I'm thinking is that at some point in time, the Vancouver Canucks do need JAGs.
We have
plenty of JAGs.
No, but we can't peace be with every JAG we get.
Peace be with
we can find JAGs off the street.
We have $6 million JAGs.
Yeah, but I feel that Granlund actually can fulfill a role. It's like Biega.
Nah, I disagree.
No.
It's like
I
Biega.
feel like Granlund this year has regressed to a point where I don't want him on my team at all.
Okay.
Moving on. Oh, this might be an easier one. Derek Pouliot. Let's give him directions. Let's give him directions to somewhere, and then just tell him we're playing a preseason game there, and we'll just not show up for it.
Tell him we called him an Uber, and he can wait for that.
Is Chris driving him to the airport himself?
No, I don't. I have one car. Marty has to take the daughter to the.
Serious question. Okay, so we all agree, Derek Pouliot, peace be with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does Derek Pouliot find work in the NHL again?
Yes.
Really?
He's a hockey player. Hockey, quote unquote player.
That might be it. I feel like this might be it for Derek Pouliot.
No,
if you can't crack this
Branson
team,
can get in.
this is true. This is true.
Or signing Derek
And
Pouliot.
everyone's talking about him like he's the second freaking coming now. He's in Pittsburgh.
Yes, but anybody who actually follows hockey in a serious capacity knows how terrible he's been. Still,
I hope
you watch him play, he still can't close a gap.
Yeah.
So
we won't even bother with Thatcher Demko because we're all bringing him back. Brendan Gaunce, yes or no?
Yes.
Really?
I mean, you want to? This guy loves his Jags.
The thing is,
yeah, you do love your Jags. Your Jim.
Okay. Here, actually, so he's gone. Who's taking his place? I'm not talking about bringing him back for 4 years.
What? He hasn't played a single second in the NHL this year.
Yeah, he
No,
has.
Has
he?
played
Yeah, he played a game.
Quite a few games.
What?
A few
Brendan
games.
Gaunce, quite a few? I don't know about
No,
quite a few.
okay, a handful.
Okay.
Anyway, I would just say
Okay, well,
I'd rather
clearly it
see
wasn't
him.
memorable. Who cares? You can find these guys.
Yeah, sure.
easily.
Who cares? But I'd rather see him fill out the bottom of the lineup than someone even like Granlund.
Okay.
And he's cheaper. He is cheaper.
Yeah, and it's a quantity that I know of. Yes, you can find Jags out there, but the Canucks will overpay for them. I would rather just have the known quantity that you can get for a good deal.
Gaunce played 3 games this year so far.
Okay.
Handful. See.
And someone needs to play in Utica.
That's a few.
Okay, so very quickly wrapping this up. Completely off the rails. Nexus saying Brendan Gaunce is captain of the All-Jag team. Who else is captain of the All-Jag team this year for the Canucks?
What? Who's the ultimate captain? You can fill out a lineup. Come on, Mark would be in there.
I mean,
Granlund's got to be an alternate at least.
Realistically,
Tim Schaller.
I would say
Tim Schaller might be the captain.
I would say probably 60% of the players who have played forward for the NHL or for the Canucks this year in the NHL level are Jags.
Yeah.
There are 4 or 5 guys you could say, all right, those are good players. Everyone else?
Yeah,
Jag.
we can fill a couple lines maybe.
We were going to spend a little bit of time on the draft, but we don't have that much time. But we'll very quickly talk about it. Cam Robinson, he doesn't have an April rankings or a March rankings coming out. He does have an April rankings, and he does have a June final rankings coming out. So make sure you check that out at dobberhockey.com. Very quickly, Adam, since you're my draft fellow connoisseur, is it still Hughes then Kakko?
Yeah, the reason I brought up Patrick Kane's name earlier
is Jack Hughes
is Cam Robinson to you, Matt. I think it was to you, called Jack Hughes Patty Kane with better speed.
But less magnificent hands, is what he said, I believe. Not as great hands as Patrick Kane, but better speed than Patrick Kane.
Okay, but
the point is still stands.
That's a franchise-changing player.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like Johnny Gaudreau as a center.
Yeah, but probably a little bigger.
Yeah.
That's a dream player.
So still Hughes, then Kakko.
Yes.
Is it closer though than it's ever been?
No.
Really? It's still Hughes.
Who cares? I mean, it's not close. It's still Hughes.
3 to 10. Cam Robinson saying is a real blender.
Yeah, I agree.
Depends on what teams are drafting where. Do you have a clear and defined number 3?
For me, it'd probably be Dylan Cozens.
Yep.
Big guy who can play center or wing.
It's like a Ryan Getzlaf type is, I think, the projection.
And can do anything.
Can't have enough of those.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Bowen Byram, where does he fall for you?
He's 4 on my wish list, just because he's far and away, I think, the best defenseman in the draft. He's another guy who can play in all situations and play them all well. He's been playing so well for the Giants.
Yeah.
Plus,
we're probably West Coast biasing, local biasing. But
no, for sure. I mean, I'm from Bowen Island, so come on. But a Vancouver Giant from he's from Cranbrook, is it? But he's from BC. It would be a great story, and he's a great player.
Yeah, and he's really fun to watch.
After that, I know you're probably going to ask me about 5. I have no idea.
Okay, so that was going to be those 4. Any of those 4, you would be over the moon for, correct?
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of a mishmash after that.
Yeah, and like you said, it really depends on who likes player X over player Y.
But in other words, though, if the Canucks were to get a top 4 pick, you will be most ecstatic, and then 5 to 10, you're kind of indifferent wherever they pick.
Yeah, well, they I don't think they can pick 4th, given the way the odds work.
Right.
Unless they fall very far in the standings. But if any of those 4 guys are very happy. Yeah. After that, I'm happy with just about any of the other 6 or 7 guys.
Ooh. Chris, as we wrap things up here on the C4 podcast, why don't you tell people where they can find us?
You found us. You're listening. Maybe you're tuning in live like Nexus has been. But we are available at CanucksHockeyBlog.com. We're on Twitter. It's at the C4 Podcast. If you happen to tag us, please don't have your account private. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Saw you fixed it. Much love. Because we can't engage with you that way. Just saying. But as for us...
Who's tapping stuff?
That is Anna. You know her.
I didn't move!
You kicked... I saw you kick the
mic.
stand. The wires shook. We got artifacting. I don't know what the hell the technical term is. We are also... on the Taiwan iTunes board. We have Angola. We have was it Angola, Moldova, and now we're ranked in Taiwan.
Shout out to my peeps in Taiwan.
We are moving up. We're off the board in Canada.
We literally are global.
We are global
across 3 different continents.
Chris, I hate to interrupt, but Matt, you're going to Japan soon.
Yes.
Are you going to be repping the brand while you're over there?
Oh, I could bring the C4 shirt.
Yes, and if people ask, be like, oh, well, let me tell you.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I will also be in Japan during the lottery, by the way.
Really?
I know. I'm sorry.
You'll have to get Adam
It's been an annual tradition. I'm
a
sorry.
body pillow to hug.
Look at the look on his face. I feel like I've let you down personally.
I was just thinking today how excited I am to share that moment with you.
Yeah,
we've been doing that moment together for how many years in a row
3
now? Has it been 3 going on 4?
This would have been 4. Can we do it live together?
I might actually consider that.
Okay, we don't have to do we don't have to do like the live show. But
I'll have to talk to Mrs. Producer and see what she thinks. But it would be like, I'm assuming 1 a.m. in Japan. I think when that happens.
I have no idea, but. I need to be there.
Japan is 16 hours ahead.
Holding your virtual hand.
Japan is 16 hours ahead. I believe the draft lottery happened around like 5 o'clock in the afternoon every year. Not mistaken.
It's usually after the first period.
Yeah, it's usually right on my birthday.
If it's 5 p.m. Pacific, then it'll be like
1 a.m. in Japan.
No.
No, it'll be 1 a.m. No, it'll be 9 a.m.
It's in the morning.
Live show from Japan. Shout out to my peeps in Japan.
We're not yet on the iTunes board in Japan, but maybe after this episode we will. Other places that you can find us.
We got to hurry up. Anna's getting hot flashes in here.
Is Discord. You want to join our Discord server, chat with us in Gate 16. Apparently there's C4 Bingo, which gave me an idea that, that should be some shirt material. We still don't have any good shirt material. We only had Rich who dropped in some suggestions. Again, we want to put what we say on T-shirts. The problem is we don't pay attention to what the heck it is
what Rich
we
said.
say.
What did he suggest again?
Oh,
I saw it, and it was something about underwear.
Well, you go through enough of it. The point being...
Was it something like that?
We want merch. We want shirts, all that jazz. The other thing is we will have hats and we will have toques when they become available. And unfortunately, they are there, but only for design purposes, not for sales purposes. Beyond that, some other cool things are going to be happening in the next month. Jesus, boys, settle down. Okay,
going stir crazy in here.
Go to your respective corners and feel shame.
Matt just untied my shoe and was trying to pull my laces out for the record.
Yeah.
This is basically the playground equivalent of pulling on the girls' pigtails that you fancy.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Let's hurry this up. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, any final words of wisdom, Anna?
No, I just lost all sense and reason when I'm watching these two boys play fight in the corner.
Adam.
Never mind. Well, I'll be at the game on Wednesday. If anybody else is going, let me know. I'd love to say hi.
Remember, earlier start.
6 o'clock.
You gonna wear your C4 hockey podcast shirt?
Well, I'll
wear it underneath the jersey. Yeah.
Matt?
Are you going? I might go on Wednesday. Who are they playing again?
Toronto.
Toronto,
Right.
we've done.
Oh, that's
my
not going to be
God.
cheap. I'm not going to get cheap tickets for that.
No, plus
Yeah,
that.
shout out to my girlfriend's father for the.
I was going to say that barn's already full of Maple Leafs jerseys. It's
I don't
gonna be
want
a
to
home
go to
game
that
for Toronto.
game. I don't want to watch that garbage. You know what's hard enough? You know what I hate? Sorry, off
What
the
do
rails.
you hate, Matt?
I hate going to games where the Canucks are playing either Toronto, Edmonton, or Montreal. And you see all those stupid fans from all those three teams.
I think Calgary's worse than Edmonton.
Calgary's
no,
worse
I
than
think
Edmonton now. But
Edmonton's worse because it's all the idiots that moved here because Vancouver is a much better city than Edmonton, and then they fill out the barn.
In fairness to this, I watched a game in the West Coast Expressor in Montreal where Canucks fans were doing the same thing there. But there is more history with Canadiens fans, Leafs fans, and Oilers fans. It's just the history of them. But final words from me is the fact that this hot box, you guys don't understand what we go through to bring you these episodes. Matt's currently making passionate love to a fan that's plugged into the computer. So before he goes and does something that we don't want to see, on behalf of Matt Lee at Matt Lee _61, Adam Carter at Adam FOC, Anna Forsyth at A Forsyth 03, and myself, Chris Golden at Lightforce, we sign off with two words, and that is, we're out.
Thanks for listening to the C4 Podcast on CanucksHockeyBlog.com.